Hey, what's up guys? JQ back with Tech Creation, where I use technology for recreation. So for those new to the channel, you'll know that these are my very first pair of AirPods, like of all time. So if you're an AirPods newbie like myself, then this video was made for you. So kick back, relax, and let's not waste any time. So I'm pretty experienced with truly wireless earbuds, so I kind of already knew what to expect with the AirPods. The first word that comes to mind is small, which is not a bad thing at all. It just means I can palm it with very little effort. I love how pocketable it is. It's the perfect dimension for your jeans watch pocket. The contours of the case lets it slide in easy. Now, one thing I like to pay attention to is the opening and closing of cases, and this is hands down the easiest earbud case to open that I've ever used. It opens with barely any effort and the spring hinge immediately snaps in place. There's no having to lock it back like I had to do with the Galaxy Buds. And the strong magnet in the center of the lid shuts tight, which by the way, I can't tell you how many times that I've kept like opening and closing the case before I ever even used them for the first time, just because of how satisfying that click is. And I can tell Apple definitely acoustically engineered this case. Now, thanks to Apple's new H1 chip that supports Bluetooth 5.0, when it came to the initial connection of the AirPods, it was stupid fast. It literally only took seconds. It's just a matter of opening the lid and then holding it close to your iPhone and then pressing connect, and that's it, you're ready to go. Easily the fastest setup process for any pair of earbuds that I've tried, or for any gadget for that matter, period. And my favorite part about this is that once the AirPods are connected to one device, it's ready to go on all of your iCloud devices. So your iMac, your iPad, or your Apple Watch, it's already in the Bluetooth settings and there's no need to initiate the pairing process again. And that's one of the things that makes me weak when using Apple devices, is that simple, no questions asked approach when it comes to using all of their products together. And I did end up scuffing it when it hit my wood floor, and I freaked out because the mark that it had wasn't coming out, or so I thought. But then after just taking a microfiber cloth, a little bit of toothpaste, warm water, and then some circular motions, it came right out. That's just a little tip for you guys if you see any cosmetic wear on the case. And to elaborate on that, my only complaint with the case and the AirPods is the maintenance. I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. It's just like I'm constantly having to clean out crust and earwax, debris, hair, everything just collects on these AirPods, especially around the lid and the seams of the AirPods. And the fact that it's white, it just makes it look worse. It sticks out even more. So there's one thing that you have to worry about with the AirPods that you don't have to as much with other earbuds. Now, whenever the lid is open near your phone, you get this cool animation that shows the battery status percentage of the case and the AirPods. And you can always check the status again for both after the fact by using the batteries widget for iOS. And when you're away from the phone with the AirPods inside, the green LED on the front of the case means that the AirPods are fully charged, and amber means that they're currently charging. And when removed from the case, those same indicators apply, but this time for the case itself, except where amber now means less than one charge remains for the case. Now, on the topic of charging, you can always charge the case with an existing lightning cable or with a Qi compatible wireless charger. And thank God it can now share the same space with my Galaxy Buds. Some of you know just how much I love wireless charging. And obviously it's going to take a little longer to charge wirelessly, but you don't necessarily have to wait until the case is fully charged since they both charge at the same time. And the AirPods themselves don't take that long to juice. Every time I randomly pick them up off the wireless charger, I always had at least 50% battery available. And by the way, the wireless charging case is also compatible with the first gen AirPods. So if you only like the wireless charging feature, then just pick this up for only $70 as opposed to buying the brand new AirPods and the case together for $200. Therefore, you're saving $130. So alright, so moving on. Now, next to the Sennheiser Momentums, I would say these are the more stronger magnets that I've seen on earbuds. You couldn't shake these out if you tried. And I just like that added security of knowing the AirPods won't slip out if I happen to be holding it and then just make a sudden quick hand gesture. At least I know that they aren't going anywhere. Now, taking a look around the AirPods, the two grills on either side are not speakers, they're actually vents. Because just like all speakers, the earbuds need airflow to vibrate, and that's what creates those low-end frequencies, aka bass. Also, these aren't water or sweat resistant, so if that's important to you, then these aren't for you. Now, inside the earpiece portion is where the H1 chip and the accelerometers sit, and the stems actually hold the antennas. And I just like the overall engineering that went into the AirPods and how the microphone on the bottom is encased with a metal contact that's also used for charging inside of the case. I think that's pretty dope. It was a very well thought out design. And although this design does have a couple benefits like better reception when talking on the phone, or for example, when it comes to removing and replacing the AirPods from your ear, I like the fact that we actually have something to hold on to do that. as opposed to other earbuds that you have to kind of like go in your ear a little and take them out. Now, aside from those benefits, I do think these look a little bit stupid hanging from your ears. And I've always had that thought to myself when I see other people wearing them outside in public. I prefer the tucked away, more discreet look, so these are not really my style. Now, to add on to that, the AirPods are probably the only flagship truly wireless earbuds that don't use silicone tips. And because of that, I gotta say that these are officially the most uncomfortable earbuds that I've ever worn. My ear canal just isn't compatible with the AirPods shape. They may look like they're sitting comfortable, but they're actually not. It presses up against the inner ridge of my ear, and it goes just beyond discomfort, but actual pain in my inner ear. So after a few hours of listening to these, once I take them out my ear, I can feel just how tender that part of my ear really is. And it hurts like hell. And then whenever I would make any facial expressions while wearing them, like laughing or smiling, I can feel them shifting in my ear as if they're gonna fall out, and it doesn't feel comfortable. And that's the problem when it comes to a one-size-fits-all product. It either fits your ear or it doesn't. Now, on a much brighter note, I just love how simple the experience of the AirPods are. There's no extra app that you have to download with a bunch of settings and equalizers to go through. There's just not much going on with these, which is good. It's Apple's way of keeping you stress-free and not having you think so much. I mean, that's the kind of person Apple caters to, people who don't think. No, I'm only kidding. The only settings that you will find are within the AirPods Bluetooth settings. And my favorite feature is the automatic ear detection that uses the sensors on each AirPod. So when enabled, not only does it automatically pause playback when both AirPods are removed, but when you resume playback again with the AirPods out, it's smart enough to route the playback back to your device's speaker instead. And then vice versa when both AirPods are back in your ear, which not only do I think it's dope, but it's also practical because as far as I'm concerned, most other earbuds will still continue to play the music through the earbuds even when they're both out of your ear. However, if you decide to remove only one AirPod, then resuming playback will still play on both AirPods. So I can see this come in handy if you want to share what you're listening to with a friend, so long you still have one in your ear. So I think that's a nice little convenience, or if you want, you can just put one away altogether and use either AirPod as the dominant one. And that works because both of these connect to your phone at the same time, as opposed to some other earbuds that rely on a relay setup with a master slave where only one of them you can use by itself. But with the AirPods, you can use either one of these. Now from inside the settings, you can customize what the double tap action does for each AirPod. So double tapping activates the accelerometer, which you can set to launch Siri, pause or skip your tracks, or just turn them off altogether. My only complaint is that there's no volume controls on the AirPods, which wasn't too big of a deal for me, and I honestly didn't realize that feature was missing because I always adjusted the volume from my Apple Watch. And I just like to use both my AirPods for my media controls because you can already launch Siri hands-free using the Hey Siri feature. And even though I don't like Siri that much, I found the voice pickup to work really well. It picks up my voice surprisingly well in pretty noisy environments. It's good enough for the occasional weather check here and there, and I think if Siri was better, I might be a little more excited about that feature. And as far as call quality is concerned, I had no issues during phone calls. The voices on my end at least were crystal clear, and the people I spoke to said the same thing. So this is just a small recording so you guys can be the judge of the sound quality from the phone itself versus when I switched to the AirPods right now. So this is how it sounds on the AirPods. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think call quality should be a concern for too many of you. Now, if you want to use this with an Android phone, it's more of a traditional setup. So you just flip open the lid while the AirPods are inside, and then you press and hold that flush button on the back of the case until the white LED flashes on the front, so it's in pairing mode, and then you choose it from the settings, and that's it, you're done. And the good thing about this is whatever media controls that you set from the AirPods settings carry over to your Android device. So you don't lose those settings, but you do lose the Hey Siri function as well as the auto pause feature. Now, as far as latency issues, they appear to be non-existent. Now, I know that all wireless connections do have some kind of latency, but lately, I don't know if it's Bluetooth 5.0, but the recent earbuds that I've tried, that hasn't been an issue for me. And running an audio video sync test, as far as my brain is concerned, everything appears to be in perfect sync. Now, as far as sound quality is concerned, I mean, they sound okay. Remember, I'm coming from Sennheiser, the Galaxy Buds, and the Jabra Elites, those earbuds all sound better than the AirPods. I just feel like I have to shove it in my ear to get a decent level of bass, and in general, it just sounds a little bit muddy. It could use a little bit more clarity, and this is where some equalizer settings would have come in handy. And with the issue that I described earlier with the AirPods shifting in my ear, it doesn't necessarily help when it comes to the sound being consistent. And also, I mean, I can still hear everything outside when wearing these. There's no noise filter at all, and at least the silicone tips on other earbuds provide a decent amount of noise isolation, but with the AirPods, it's like having a natural ambient noise feature. I mean, all the sounds come in. I feel like cranking it to max volume is the only way you can drown out some of the outside world. It doesn't necessarily make for the best listening experience. And yes, they do get pretty loud. Personally, I want to experience my music, but at a comfortable volume. So yes, with the AirPods, I can hear my music, but I can't experience my music the way I want. Now, to end this on a little more positive note, as far as the battery life is concerned, phenomenal. I mean, Apple advertises 5 hours of listening time and 3 hours of talk time, and I actually found that to be spot on. Podcasts, music, YouTube videos, it really takes effort for me to drain these, and I'm even more impressed at how a fully charged case holds an additional 19 hours, giving you 24 hours of combined listening time when both are fully charged. So in the real world use, that translates to about me recharging the case about every 4 or 5 days, depending on how often you listen to these throughout the day. So if you own nothing but Apple products, then just get yourself the AirPods because you're gonna benefit from the additional features and the optimization. But if you have mixed devices around your house, then I would highly recommend exploring different options. There's a lot to choose from, guys. So that just about wraps it up. Let me know if there's anything that I said or didn't say that you agree or disagree with in this review. And if I helped you make a decision, please let me know by dropping those comments down below and showing some love to that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe and turn on the alerts notification. This way, YouTube notifies you whenever I drop another awesome tech video. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.